Talk Shows family is the Nomsa here at Ngozi Talk Shows. Uh, find your own voice, lead from within live. Um, if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe Ngozi Talk Shows family and share the video as well. So today I'm on my own. Everyone is having a break, and it's my birthday today. So um, I'm just gonna try and give you guys information as much as possible, and then I'll go and celebrate my birthday with my family. So the topic today is how to restore a broken relationship. Will you forgive someone in your relationship when your relationship is broken? Or would you have the courage to actually find out what you did as an individual, how you contributed to your relationship for your relationship to be where it is, if it is broken? Would you actually, or would you blame your spouse for your brokenness, for your relationships to get into that stage of brokenness? Um, so those are the things that we will be covering, and also it is very very important when we meet each other, when you are in a relationship, you meet your spouse, promises are met, that I will love you until death. I will love you. There's so many promises that are made, and when you meet each other, there's this thing where you have to ask someone basically to qualify them to see whether their values and beliefs and their want and their desires, they basically align with what you are looking for in a relationship, and then you qualify that person. Not everyone does that. Some people, they just date somebody for the sake of dating, but most of people, they qualify somebody. They're like, okay, this is the person that I would love to date, and our desires and our values and our beliefs, we have similarity, so they qualify the person. And once you qualify the person, you start getting exclusive with them. When you get exclusive with them at the beginning, everything is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. You want to know basically what makes them cry, why do they love the things that they love. You basically want to know about everything. Anyone that has started a relationship can actually basically testify and say, no, sir, this is the truth. Basically, they can't wait to see their spouse, this person that they just met. They're like, you know what? I, 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 I don't know if I can wait. I'm supposed to see this guy or this person that I've just met around maybe in the evening. They're like, I don't think I can wait that long because I love this person so much. I'm falling for this person. Those are the things that go on and on and on. Basically, we want to go on dates. We want to get to know this person from the beginning. But then after, when the relationship has been, when you've been dating someone for a very long time, everything starts fading away, because we feel that we don't have to make an effort anymore. Whatever I was looking for, the fish that I wanted to catch so bad, I've got it, so I don't have to make an effort. I've got this fish that I wanted to really, really wanted uh, to catch. I don't need to make an effort anymore. So start making an effort, and or sometimes basically misunderstanding in relationship, instead of the other person communicating what they really want, what their feelings, their true feelings, they don't communicate. They don't want a confrontation. They get angry inside, and that building a wall. You're building a wall. It's like you start protecting yourself, and then it becomes then the relationship, you start resenting your spouse, anger, shame, guilty, so many things that goes on. And when a relationship gets into that stage where somebody, you feel alone, but you are in a relationship with someone, but you feel alone because you feel that you're not being heard by your spouse. You feel that your spouse are not listening to you. They're not listening to your want. They're not listening to your desires. But at the beginning, they did. So you have to go back from the beginning when you started dating each other without blaming each other, without getting defensive with the other person. And if you believe that is something that you cannot do it on your own, the problem has gone on for a long time, and you feel that you need professional help, you shouldn't be ashamed of getting help. Some people, they do feel ashamed of getting professional help when it comes to relationship. They feel that um, whatever the problems they have, it should not be um, discussed with a third party. They feel that a therapist is a third party. But guess what? Uh, if I can have a business coach, why shouldn't I have a therapist for my relationship? Because everything, we shouldn't know everything. We should have someone, some guidance, someone guiding us through. It's just the knowledge is there, but sometimes you need somebody to remind you of the things that you can improve. You need someone to help you to make some improvement in your life. You need someone to remind you that your life can be great only if you are willing to actually, um, if you are willing to do the work. And doing the work, it requires you basically to evaluate the problems and admit that there is a problem and then solve it. If your relationship is completely broken, you will basically need some help. Some people, they do it on their own because they admit. The reason why some people are able to fix the relationship on their own is because they are in a place where they admit there is a problem. When you admit that there is a problem, and then they're in a place where they don't have time to blame their spouse anymore, they want to fix the problem. When you love someone and then you say, okay, I love this person, but there is a problem, you have to basically get rid of your egos and make a decision in your heart that I want to solve this problem. And when other people, they make that decision that I want to solve this problem, they sort their problems on their own, because it's all about knowing what you want. It's all about knowing where things have gone wrong, and is somebody else, your other spouse, working with you, agreeing to work with you and to sort the problems with you in a relationship. If the one person is the one that wants to solve the problem, and the other person basically in a different world where they say, I don't want to solve the problem because I don't see that there is a problem, then there will be a problem. But if you both really want to solve a problem, you acknowledge that our relationship is not the same, so we need to fix what is broken and give it time. Give a time, put a time in your relationship. There's some self-help books. Some people, they basically they fix a relationship by themselves, by reading books, by acknowledging, basically working on themselves. The relationship basically is all about working on themselves, because if I tell my spouse that I love them with all my heart, that means I have worked on myself. And if I have worked on myself, I'm able to love the other person with all my heart. And I'm able to share this love that I've discovered about myself. I am able to share the life that I have discovered, the beauty of life with somebody else. So it is very, very important first, instead of blaming someone, because uh, when you are in a relationship, I'm in a relationship myself. It's my birthday today. So my spouse cannot decide how I want to celebrate my birthday unless if he wants to do a surprise for me. He can do a surprise. He is allowed to do a surprise for me. He can surprise me. But there are other options that I can celebrate my birthday. I can choose how I want to celebrate my birthday. And if my spouse makes some suggestions for me to say, oh, we could do this, because when you live with someone, you get to know them. If he suggests something, if it is something that in my heart that I don't want to do, there is one option that I have to say, no, I don't want to do that. Because when you say no to someone, it means there won't be any anger, there won't be any resentment. Or if, let's say, if he forgets my birthday, if he forgets my birthday, I have to remind him that it is my birthday. For me, in the house, no one can say, I have forgotten your birthday. I remind people my birthday. The reason I remind them that it is my birthday is because I know that people work really, really hard. There's so many things we live. Life is very fast, very, very, very fast. That we go to work. After going to work, we come home, we look after our kids, we have to cook for the children, we have to do the school work for the children, we have to homework for the kids, take the children for activities. So many things, go to the gym. There are so many things that has got to be done. If you were to write down the list, there's so many things. But sometimes if somebody has not written it down, like to say my birthday is not written down, they will easily forget. And if they do forget, the other person will get angry. How can you forget my birthday? They forgot your birthday because they're a human being. They forgot your anniversary because they are a human being. We are all human beings. If we were to see life that way, that we are not perfect, we are not supposed to know everything. Some people will say, why would you forget the day we got married? And they will hold on to that to say, you hurt me. But instead of, okay, knowing that, okay, it's our anniversary week coming up, mostly men, they forget. We just remind them. Maybe in 2 weeks, keep reminding them that, honey, you know our anniversary is coming up. Whoever remembers it, remind them. The life would be so, so simple if we were to live a life where people work together, reminding each other, not to say, I expect, my expectations. I don't expect, I remind my children. My birthday is coming up. I remind my children that my birthday is coming up, and guys, don't forget my birthday. And even with the present that I want for my birthday, I basically tell them what I need for my birthday. I don't celebrate Christmas for my birthday. I tell them, this is, if you want to buy me a present, it's my special day. You can buy me this. Or some years, sometimes I don't really mind. I tell them that you can get me what you think is gonna make me happy, surprise me. So I don't really, really mind. I've learned to be like this the hard way, because I used to think that people should remember, people should know better. But now, as I'm starting to basically live my life and just realize how busy life can be. Life can be so busy. It can be really, really busy, like in a way that if you are basically running your own business, you basically need an assistant basically to remind your birthdays, to remind you book hospital appointments, to do all those things. Otherwise, on your own, it is just too much. So this is the life that we are living. And it doesn't matter whether someone doesn't work. Some people, they will say, um, my spouse doesn't work. They look after the children. It's still work. Looking after the children at home is actually very challenging than running a business, because you're looking after the kids and you have to make sure the kids, they've eaten, basically you've taken them to the activities, you have to speak to them, you have to entertain them, and when they go to sleep, that's when you have some time, some me time. But otherwise in the day, you have basically watch them, you have to be there for them. But if I with the business, if I want to take a break, I can take a 1 hour break, I can take a 15 minutes break. So it's completely different. So for me, I always say someone, when I ask them what do you do, they're like, oh no, I'm just at home looking after my kids. They don't see that basically they're managing everything. It's a big job. Being a full-time dad or being a full-time mom, for those who didn't know that, it's a very rewarding and a very big job, for somebody to look after the kids full time. And some people, they don't realize that. They just look at it and they're like, oh, uh, just because I'm a full-time mom, it doesn't mean that it's not. They look at the title. It is a big job looking after the kids. Being a full-time dad is a big job. Being a full-time mom is a big job. I don't want to lie to you. It is big. I've gone on maternity leave, and being at home looking after the kids full time is basically hard work. Sometimes you want some time out when the children are screaming, when you're trying to help them with something and you can't get through to them. So it's like having clients that are difficult. So, but it's very rewarding. So when you have that kind of a life where you have children and you still have to maintain your own relationship, when a relationship is broken, please try to leave kids out of it. Some parents, they involve the kids. When a relationship is not working, they will talk to their children, and when they are fighting, the fight will involve the kids as well. Just leave the kids out of it. That's all I can suggest. When you leave the kids out of it, um, is a very beautiful thing, because you're preparing these kids is for their future. When relationship is not working, the children don't have to be affected. They still have to face the relationship not working, but they don't need to be the arguments to be in the middle of the arguments. Leave them out of it. It's very important to leave the kids out of it, and come to an agreement to seek help. Come to an agreement to actually solve the problem if the relationship is not working, both parties. We were talking the other day with Carol Ann that communication skills is like a dance. Relationship is the same. Is you cannot have a dance if a relationship, it needs a dance partner. You cannot dance. Any dance that needs a partner, you cannot dance it by yourself. Tango, ballroom dance, you need a dance partner. So that means your relationship, where you're gonna need your spouse to support you. You're gonna need your spouse if the relationship is not working. Your spouse is gonna have to come together as one and solve that relationship. If you have Somebody that basically who is stubborn, you don't try to force them to say, okay, I've watched Nomsa's video and she's saying we've got to do this. Everything is a choice. It's a decision and it is a choice. If someone makes a decision to fix what is broken, it's beautiful. It's a foundation that is going to be beautiful. It's a foundation that can be rebuilt. But if they feel that they don't have a problem, that means they need to work on themselves. So you don't have to force anyone, even if it means walking away from that relationship, be it. You don't have to force your spouse to actually come together and fix the relationship if it's not working. Some people will be basically, they will hold on to anger when the relationship is broken, and as a spouse, you have to try to hold their hands, to walk with them in that dark place, deepest dark place. But if they refuse for you to hold their hands, because when somebody is holding your hands, that means they want things to be fixed. But if they refuse things to be fixed, that means the problem will get out of control. So all you got to do is look after number one. Number one is you need to look after your well-being. You need to look after your health. You can either get out of your relationship or you can get a professional therapist and make a decision. Tell your spouse that I'm going to get a therapist and figure out me. And when you do figure out, sometimes the other person, when they see you fixing things, they may want to join. Some people, they may not. So it depends with the mindset of that person. And it's basically depend. When a man and a woman, when the relationship is broken, there is fear inside. There will be fear. Between those two people, there will be fear, and the other person will be fearing, because if the other person is confident and the other person is not, so there will be fear of the relationship basically breaking. So everyone that is involved, you're gonna have to put the blame away. Don't blame your spouse. Forgiveness is basically is the critical component of you finding you out what kind of a person you're meant to be and fixing that relationship. Forgiveness. It means that I forgive you even if there is nothing to forgive. I forgive you. Even if you are not willing to do the work in our relationship, I forgive you. So that means you have to forgive your spouse. And sometimes you find people find it hard to actually make a decision and find that peace. Because when a relationship is broken, there's no longer peace anymore. So for you to go and find that peace, it will be hard. So it will require basically um, for somebody to realize what you're both going through, to realize the wounds, how far the damage has been done in that relationship, and basically go through healing. And when you go through healing, healing doesn't require you to blame anyone, to blame your spouse, even if you know that you didn't contribute, or even if you have been cheated, you don't. Healing, it does not require you blaming yourself. It does not require you blaming the other person. It requires you figuring you out. The person, or some people, relationship gets broken because the trust is broken. So when the trust is broken, if it's not your fault, that is broken, that trust. Forgive and look after number one. And looking after number one is looking after your well-being. If you are someone who has children, and if you have children, in order for you to look after those kids, that means you have to look after yourself first. You've got to love yourself. You've got to do healing. You've got to bring peace within you first before you can give someone else peace. So that means that you do not need to basically to blame the other person. You don't need to blame yourself. It is not your fault if you are involved in a abusive relationship. Why would you blame yourself if it's not your fault? So you don't need to blame yourself. If you are involved in a relationship where someone has cheated on you, and the trust is broken, you don't need to blame yourself. You don't need to blame yourself. All you got to do is forgiveness, and forgiveness will require you to look into within, find if you can forgive the other person completely. You can't say I forgive you and then you keep reminding this person that cheated on you in a relationship, keep reminding them that I forgive you, you cheated on me. Forgiveness, it means I don't forget what you've done, but I forgive you 100% and I let it go, and I cut the cords off of that pain, and I'm finding my healing and moving on. If you feel that you can still forgive and still be with the person, in love with the person, then you're gonna have to forgive 100%. You can't say I forgive you, and then you remind them later that you cheated on me, you did this. So you can't do that. So if you forgive someone, it has to be 100%. So that's how you fix if a relationship is broken and there is abuse that is involved. And I'm afraid if there is abuse, emotionally and physically abuse that is involved in a relationship, I wish I could suggest for you to fix the relationship, but what's needed in that relationship is not fixing the relationship, is that person fixing themselves who are abusing. They need to fix themselves professionally. That is seeking professional help, because emotionally it breaks someone. When someone is being abused emotionally, it breaks the person. When someone is being abused physically, it breaks the person. So that means you will need professional help. And when the other person will need professional help as well. So when they do get professional help, then you go to a stage with a therapist where you're gonna have to, they will go on their own. I've never been in a abusive relationship, but it's something that I've studied with psychology. I'm basically speaking as a psychologist, that they will need to go get counseling on their own. If they are abusing you, they will need to go get counseling on their own first. And then after, when they finish, and the therapist, when it feels that actually they are finished, they are ready, and then they'll bring you both together. Then it will be when both of you have to be counseled together, and the counselor will arrange times, how many, maybe 10 weeks or 5 weeks. It depends with the situation, where you will go and see a therapist together. So when you see a therapist together, is for the other person that is involved in abusive to make a decision whether they want to continue with this relationship, whether they trust the person that every chain is broken. Because sometimes people, they abuse people physically and emotionally because of what they went through when they were child. So if the other person feels that, okay, I'm in an abusive relationship emotionally or physically, I wouldn't suggest to fix the relationship. I would suggest the person that is abusing you to fix themselves and then after, once they are fixed, they go to a therapist that specialize with people like that with mental health problems. Then you can come together, find a therapist for marriage. And also the therapist that is dealing with mental health problems, they will invite you to come in, and when they're doing the sessions, maybe after, maybe for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, to make sure that you are satisfied that you can trust this person. They're really, really trying hard to solve the problems. So that is how you fix it. There is no way that somebody can abuse you and then they'll come to you and say, I'm sorry. It was never my fault hitting you. It's never my fault me speaking to you the way I'm speaking. And I promise you, it will never happen. And you believe that it will never happen. And that means the next time it's going to be happening and it's going to be telling you. Next time is going to be like blame to say, oh, it was your fault, you trigger me to do this. So those are the things that we need to avoid when we are fixing a broken relationship. I don't want you to listen to my video and you are involved in an abusive relationship and you start saying, I watched Nomsa's video, she said we can fix this. No, some problems require professional help, requires professional help. And mostly sometimes also when somebody is alcoholic, when substance are involved in that broken relationship, you need professional help. You cannot just mouth by saying, I'm never gonna drink again, I'm sorry, I'm drinking because of this, because of making excuses, blaming. That is not a way to solve the problems. So all I would suggest is that if you are involved in an abusive relationship or somebody taking drugs, substance, basically alcohol, seek professional help, because it gets worse. I've witnessed my friends that stayed in a relationship where there is an abusive relationship. The relationship is never the same. And when they come out of that relationship, they are never the same either. So try to seek professional help. And that's what I would say for anyone that is really, really involved in a broken relationship. If things are involve substance abuse, seek professional help. In that way, you'll be able to basically know where you want to go. Uh, you will know the journey where you want to go. And what else? And also, when the relationship is broken and there is pain in it, when we have pain in that relationship, our way of solving the problem, it will be trying to push the other person away. And when you try to push the problems away, you try to push your spouse away, that means the pain is being built as well, because that the other person, they don't know what they have done and they'll feel the pain. So both of you, you will feel the pain because the other person is pushing you away and they are not actually telling you that there is a problem. I'm feeling the problems. My expectations are not have not been met in this relationship. And but if you do acknowledge the pain, yeah, then you can work on healing. You can work on releasing that pain by facing the problem, by facing what is really, really going on in that relationship, and be able to basically face it. And if you feel that your pain is related to your spouse, feel like you're not being listened, basically, I would suggest that. The other person pays attention. Pay attention to what your spouse is saying, what they are saying. In that way, it does help to build a relationship, because when someone is speaking to you, they need to be listened. And then it means that they need to solve the problems. So pay attention to them and work towards fixing that relationship, because if you both are listening to each other, it brings freedom to your lives, and is it brings so much joy When you have a problem and someone is willing to actually listen to you, and they are willing to fix the problem, it brings joy. And it will transform your life, it will transform your relationship, because your spouse, basically, they are communicating with you, communicating what they are yearning. Everyone has something that they are yearning for. So if there is something you are yearning for in that relationship, communicate it. Tell your spouse what are your desires, what are you yearning for in that relationship, and be honest. Be honest. Be as transparent as possible by putting all out there without the blame. Some people will say, um, this, but if you are yearning for something and you feel that your spouse, they are not really listening, they are not there, the only way to solve a broken relationship is to put all the problems there. It's up to your spouse whether they want to take it or they don't want to take it. Without blaming, when somebody tells you something and they are not blaming you, it goes in, and you're able to say, okay, we can deal with this. Even when you go to a therapist, that's what happens. A therapist basically triggers you to bring it all out. So that's what happens. If there is something that you feel that I'm yearning for this, but my spouse is not listening to me. And when we met, there were promises that we made for each other that, oh, this is what I'm looking for, but she's not, she's changed. If you feel that your spouse have changed and they're no longer there in that relationship and they're not in the present, just talk to them. Be transparent. Tell them what you're feeling. Tell them with compassion, with care. What are your desires? What are you yearning? And be willing to receive it. If sometimes it might not be the answer that you are looking for, but sometimes it's the best way, just to basically listen and receive. Or sometimes it might be this misunderstanding. So when there is misunderstanding in relationship, just be willing to listen, be willing to basically sit there and listen to your spouse when they are letting you know that this is what is going on. I feel that you don't give me time. Just give them time. If they do feel that you're not giving them time, just give them time. Remember the days when you met each other, the times where you couldn't keep your eyes on them, the times where you will tell your friends how they smile, how they make you laugh, how you can't go to sleep without giving them a phone call, how you cannot sleep without sending them a text. Remember those good times, how exciting it was, how amazing, how wonderful it was. Remember those times. And if somebody has not changed, but you need to work on that relationship. Remember the good times and be grateful for that person being part of your life. Some relationship cannot be fixed. The reason why some relationship cannot be fixed is because some people, they're not willing to forgive each other. And you can't force somebody to forgive you if they don't want to forgive you. You can't. And some people have their own issues basically that they need to deal with. So if you are in a relationship with someone who has issues that they need to deal with and they are not willing to share them with you, you can't force them. You can't force someone to be something that you want. So that is the difficult part of the relationship. That is the painful part of the journey of loving someone. If someone is willing to work with you, if someone is willing to care for you, they're willing to solve problems with you, it makes everything very easy. Very, very easy. So try to basically divorce anger, divorce the blame and get excited to fix that broken relationship with your spouse without blaming them, without thinking that you're perfect or somebody is better than anybody, without thinking all those things. And remember the path that you both were willing to take when you first met. The reason why basically you and your spouse go together and you love each other is because there was a path that was exciting, that you both agreed that you're going to take this path together. And from the beginning you took that path and you were holding hands, everything was fine. So remember those promises that were made, that I love you, I will love you, I'll be there for you. The goals when your spouse were asking you when you first met that, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You were like letting it all out, letting it all out. So remember those good times. And when you remember those good times, when you remember those beautiful times, the unknown, the path that was unknown, the path that was exciting, the path that had no guarantees what will happen tomorrow, the path that you didn't know you and your spouse gonna basically you're gonna end up with having beautiful children, you're gonna end up traveling around the world. That path that was exciting, remember it. Life is too short. Remember it. Bring it to you. Remember it. Life is too short. How you both felt when you met each other. How did you feel when you both met each other? You were able to express how your spouse makes you feel. You were able to express when you were hungry to say, honey, I'm hungry. Would you like to go and get something to eat? You were like able to express everything. But what was changed? Is your spouse changed because they feel that basically some people they change because they feel they are not being listened. Some people they change because as we get older, our values and beliefs they change. But for me, my values are still the same. My beliefs are still the same. I've grown. I'm building my values. I'm growing. My beliefs have changed as well. My belief has changed. It's like I'm still the same, but I'm growing through my beliefs. I'm growing through my beliefs, and so it's very very important when you are in a relationship to actually let go of the hurt and offer your spouse, if you both can allow yourself to be happy, offer your spouse that happiness and care for them. It's very very important to solve problems with care, to solve problems with the compassion, because we all have a choice in life how we want to rewrite our story. We all have a choice with the journey where we need to go. So allow your spouse to have a choice. Give them their choices in life. Decide how you would like your relationship to unfold. Is very, very important when you decide and come to an agreement to say, this is how we want our relationship to unfold. And this is how we going to build our happiness, our foundation. Both of you has to come to an agreement with how you want your relationship to unfold. It's like playing a dance. See if you can finish the song together and dance together. If you can do that, if you can do simple things together, nothing can come between you and your spouse. But if you can't go for, let's say, go to McDonald's. I'm just making an example. I'm not saying everybody likes McDonald's. McDonald's is a simple restaurant where you stand, you order, and then you have a choice to sit down or go and eat your food. If you cannot go to McDonald's, have a laugh. I don't go to McDonald's myself. I go McDonald's once a month, or maybe sometimes once after 2 months, or whatsoever, just for fun. If you cannot go to McDonald's and buy food, go to the park with your spouse and have fun, laugh, that means there is a problem. Life it shouldn't be serious. If you cannot make a picnic at home, go to the park, share your picnic for 10 minutes with your spouse. 10 minutes. Laugh for 10 minutes in one room. That means there is a problem. So you have to decide how you want to spend your time with your spouse. You have to decide how you want to build your relationship. Relationship requires an understanding. It requires knowledge. It requires somebody who knows how to deal with problems. You have to have knowledge to deal with the difficult spouse, difficult dealing with people, because we are not meant to be the same. Some people, they are difficult to handle, so you're gonna have to, like myself, when I'm sad, I don't want to screaming. I want some me time when I'm sad. I want, or sometimes even when I'm not sad, I want some me time. There's a time where I just want my 10 minutes, just listening to my music, listening to God on my own. So if you are someone who cannot understand that, then you will have problems. So every person has their own choice. They have how they want to live their life, how they want to write their story without judgment. Trust your spouse without judgment. Trust them. If you want to fix a relationship, you're gonna have to let go of what they didn't do, let go of why were not there when you needed them the most, let go of the conflict, just love. Learn the power of unconditional love. The power of unconditional love, it means when you hurt me, I have a choice to forgive you. When you hurt me, I have a choice to let you go. There is no other way. I have a choice to forgive. I have a choice to let you go. That is the power of unconditional love. It means I love you, but I will let you go because I cannot handle or put up with the with your present, or put up with the situation, or put up with the person that you are. That means I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna let you go. But then you have another choice of I will forgive you and I will give you unconditional love after the forgiveness until we die together. Those are two choices you have in life. You can't have both. But then you have another choice where you let somebody cause depression into your life, cause pain, cause stress. Those are the other choices that you have. But the choices of building and rebuilding a broken relationship is unconditional love. That I forgive you. That I forgive myself for whatever was going on, for whatever is going on in our lives. I forgive you, and I'm going to stay with you, and I'm going to be grateful that you're my spouse, and I'm going to love you 100%. Or the other choice I have is I will let you go. So those are the choices that you both have to be willing to see the future. Look at the future. Do you see yourself in the future with this person? If the relationship is completely broken, are you willing to fix it? Your goals, do they align? Your identity, your image, does it align with everything, your desires, with everything that you want? If it does, fix it and forgive. But if it doesn't, I'll let you go. Those are the other options. Let you go. And learn to address the situation, and give your spouse a reason to trust you. And what else? And when you give someone a reason to trust you, it means I believe in our relationship, and I believe in you, and I'm forgiving you 100%. I understand that we are not perfect, we are different people, but I am willing to try. I'm willing to work on our relationship. I am willing to plan the dates for our relationship. I am willing to spend time with you. I am willing to. Uh, I'm willing to basically respect you. I am willing to support you in our relationship. I am willing to be the creator of our relationship and our destiny. I am willing to basically to hold the pain and write our story in our relationship. I am willing to, if things are not gonna go our way, or if we are facing problems, I am willing to admit that we have a problem and we need to fix it. And also, if your relationship needs to work, you need to fix it. And look at the friends, the cycle of friends that you have with your spouse. Are they good friends or fake friends? If they are fake, I'm afraid you're gonna both have to let them go. Your spouse will have to make some sacrifice, because some people have friends but they're fake. So you need to have friends that will support you. You need to have friends that will basically, when you mess up, they'll tell you the truth that no, you messed up. So you just look at the support in your friendship with the friends that you have, your tribe. And if your friends are not real, let them go, and never pretend that there isn't a problem, why there is a problem. And never be ashamed of asking for forgiveness. When there is a problem in your relationship, ask for forgiveness and be willing to work in that relationship. Uh, Free your spouse from pain. When you forgive somebody, you free them from pain, and free yourself from pain as well. And what else? Communicate your needs. And what else? What else? What else? Okay. And the other thing is, what else? Treat each other with compassion and respect each other, and just accept that when you are dating somebody, as the journey goes, you're both gonna change. So you have to accept someone that they have changed. You can't expect somebody to be the same like when you met them. And confess your part where you believe that you were wrong. Confess it and avoid the conflict. When I'm saying avoid the conflict, it means you face the problems so that they basically, so you can build unshakable relationship. And don't attack the person, attack the problem. Never attack your spouse, attack the problem. Be willing to pay the price and fix the problem. Understand your duty. A man is a provider. You want your relationship to build an unshakable relationship, and to also make sure that you build your relationship. What is broken, know your duties. Man is a provider, a woman is a provider. A man is an architect. A woman, she's a helper. A man is a cultivator. A woman, she's an inventor and a helper. She's a developer. A woman plans, and she plans and programs. She does everything, arrange family visit, holidays. You see that they are all going on holidays. A man, he has dreams. He'll come up with the ideas. That's why he's a cultivator. I'll say, honey, would you love to visit this? He has vision for his family, this country. Have you ever been? And a woman's job is to make sure if they both agree to their likes, and a woman's job is to make sure that is all booked. And a man is an architect. And a man brings out the best from his woman. You don't destroy your woman. You bring out the best. When somebody says, I feel good when I'm around this person, that means that person brings out the best of that person. You bring out the best of your woman. You tell your woman she's beautiful. You mentor, you cultivate your woman. You cultivate that foundation for your woman to feel good. You are an architect. An architect basically has brain. He uses the brain. You see, she smiles. When she sees me, she smiles. You tell her, I love your smile, honey. Bring out the best. Bring out more of that smile. And the woman has to do the same. A woman is a mentor. She does the same with her husband. A husband comes in with the ideas. She tells them, well, we can do this. We can do this, honey, even if she's scared. She mentors her husband. She brings out the best of her husband. She plans. She basically, she gives life. She's an inventor. So if you both understand your role in that, your roles in your relationship, with the relationship, you can build it again. That foundation that is broken, it can be built again. So I'm gonna have to love you guys. I need to go and enjoy my birthday today. I'm gonna take it easy, and it's one day, yeah, where I get to be lazy. I get to make an excuse. So I'm gonna have to do that today. I'm just gonna go and do some work and just take it easy. And I love you guys. Of course, the Talk Shows Family YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel and all our social media, guys. Know that you are loved, and we are here at Ngozi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And thank you for those who are supporting Ngozi Talk Shows. And thank you so much. And live with grace, everyone. God bless. And please get in touch with our coaches if you have a problem and you feel that you want to fix what is broken. Why not get in touch with Ngozi Talk Shows and see where we can and take everything further and fix what is broken as long as you're willing to fix it. God bless.